And let's turn attention to the judiciary, where the Judiciary Staff Union of Nigeria, JUSUN, has resolved to suspend its over 2-month strike. JUSUN took the decision at its National Executive Council meeting in Abuja. The National Judicial Council had, at a meeting with JUSUN leaders on Tuesday, urged the striking court workers to put an end to the industrial action in the interest of the country and the suffering court users. And joining me now to discuss this is a lawyer, Toyin Bashorun. Good to have you join us. Now, this suspension of strike by JUSUN is coming 64 days after JUSUN embarked on this strike. There was a mediation between JUSUN and the federal government by the National Judicial Council. How do you react to the suspension of the strike?
Well, I'm happy that the strike has been suspended. I'm grateful that the suffering of every one of us has come to an end. But I thank God that at least the strike was not in vain. We were able to achieve as much as they set out to achieve, which is good for everyone. First, everybody gets back to work on Monday, as has been said. Hearing notices ought to start to be issued so that cases can start and they can do as much as they can before the end of before the vacation starts, which we all know is a yearly thing. But most of all, I think it's time for the heads of courts and the CJ and the NJC to begin to find way forward. Now we don't have to go cap in hand asking for money from anyone. So we have to set up the process whereby court adjudication and court administration is now properly defined, so that we have proper court administrators who will worry about administering the courts whilst our judges settle to the issue of adjudication. And what I expect going forward is to see a situation...
Before we get to what you expect, I wonder, because you mentioned something about achievements, that you've been able to achieve what you have achieved with this strike. We are aware that just the Delta State Governor has agreed to the financial autonomy for judiciary. Talk to us about these achievements.
Well, when I say achievements, thank you, Precious. Achievements in the sense that, one, finally, all the decisions has now been obeyed by the executive. It means that now when monies are allotted from FEC, even though it's going to be disseminated through the states, through the executive, it means the judiciary will receive its own, and there is there is now financial autonomy. It is for the judiciary now to decide and prioritize on what to use, whatever is allocated to it from the budget, and not necessarily having to go cap in hand to anybody. That's what I mean by achievement, and I'm grateful for that.
So when the CJN talked about creating opportunity for further negotiations, what does that entail?
Well, the reason, with all due respect to my CJN for saying that, is that if you recall my last interview here, I mentioned that this issue is an issue of process, and Rome wasn't built in a day. Room for further negotiation is room to perfect and build on what is already achieved. It's not a cast in stone situation where you just flick on and flick off. We've agreed, the governors have seen the light, everybody has agreed. So what is next is to now perfect the decision and create a seamless disbursements and arrangements that will then lead to a better financial autonomy for the judiciary. But mainly, it is clear that it has to be done, and it is now starting to be done.
I cut you off when you were going to talk about what you expect going forward. I would give you the opportunity to state what you expect.
Okay, thank you, Precious. Well, what I expect going forward now, having come to this situation where we now, if I may use the word in parentheses, the judiciary is allowed to govern itself without having to resort to any other arm of government. I expect that we will create the CJN and the CJ, especially, let me use Lagos, for example, and other heads of court, will come together now to work out a model whereby judicial adjudication is separated from judicial administration.